Hi, I'm Kahar Abdullah. I happen to be Chester's portfolio, but not per se because he's a real estate negotiator. So before Chester came into the picture as an REN, I used to browse through all those portals, property portals. If I may mention some of those which may not be reputable but famous ones, popular ones would be iProperty, PropertyGuru, Muda. But what I discovered was it only served me back then as to give the feel of how much the land value and the property value would that be in that area. I have skepticism to deal with directly with the agents via those property portals because some of them turn out to be somewhat very dodgy. I remember that when I drive around, or rather when I drove around, I got bumped into one of those REN buntings. So Chester's name came up everywhere, especially in Subang. And I recall that time it rang a bell because I had a friend with the same name back in the olden days when Chester and me used to be in this motor car club. I gave a tinker to that number and yes, it was true enough that it was him. I sought his help to find the suitable property, furnishing him with all the criteria that I needed back then, a bungalow and in Subang, because I've lived in Subang for quite some time. Once you're a Subang guy, you are always a Subang guy lah. You know, when you are stuck with that one mama, you will last there lah. Chester, it sort of like offered me a flexibility, maybe because there's an added advantage due to the fact that we had a long friendship. We went back a long way. So it gives me a lot of privileges and flexibility. I'm not sure whether anything I did for this negotiation from A to Z with Chester was different from in the past, because this was my first time dealing with REN. Because in the past, all the properties purchased by me was by what we call kasih sayang. It was through siblings, was through relative and next of kin. If I can mention a bit of how he handled the whole process for me, I would say that, yeah, he's been harassed by me day and night, round the clock. You can say that lah, 25 hours, 8 day a week. Probably like what I mentioned earlier, he's a dear friend, so he wouldn't mind stepping out of the boundary to assist me. Yes, when I say stepping out of boundary, it's literally per se, because I would say that every process that I underwent would somehow have hiccup in its own manner, with its own characteristics. I have hiccups from the very beginning and somehow until 2/3 of the process, then it was smooth sailing. I would say my biggest fear when purchasing this property from Chester for the first time was being said earlier that it was my first time dealing with REN. Of course, being scammed is definitely one of which lah. At few stages, I was skeptical and I had to be careful in each step that I had to take. But of course, Chester guided me along the way lah. Regardless of that, hiccup still happens. I would advise, if you were to go for any property that you intend to purchase, firstly you need to find a reputable, you need to have a known figure in the property market, namely the REN. Chester is definitely one of them lah, namely. And then you also need to get a good lawyer. I may not be speaking through my experience, but if you read over the news, property transaction wise, you probably would have come across in this month of January 2024 that it was reported 88 CBT or criminal breach of trust cases against lawyer, resulting in, ironically, 88 cases resulting in 88 million ringgit of loss. And this was just in the span of 2 years, from 2021 to 2023. You gotta find all this good team. You know what I mean? REN, lawyer, your bankers, valuers and whatnot. If there's one word, if I could describe about Chester particularly. We're talking about the whole company, right? He's attached with, but of course, a great detail. If I can describe Chester in one word, no, this is tough. Because I'm known to be very mischievous and talkative and witty. I can't describe things in one word. There is no such thing as yes or no from me. It's always an elaboration of things. Maybe if I can, ever willing. Ever willing. You still one word, ever with a dash, willing. If I could turn back the clock, how would I do this differently? I would say go for a reputable lawyer, you know. Get a good lawyer. What I mean by a good lawyer, financially stable, and he has that financial instrument to do transaction of a big amount of money. Nowadays, a lot of things goes digital. For instance, when you need to pay your stamp duty to LHDN, income tax, they've gone digital, and not only that, they don't allow on any transaction over the counter. It's all FPX transaction. And imagine when you have a big amount of stamp duty that you need to pay, because the most, as a layman, I understand the most they can do transaction, the limit would usually be 50,000 ringgit. So just imagine if you need more than that. So you need to find a lawyer with a M2E account. For instance, for Maybank it's M2E. Not really sure about other banks. What would I say in recommending a friend? Well, this video is self-explanatory. If I wouldn't highly recommending our friend here, I wouldn't be in this video, and this video wouldn't be published. This video is a self-testimonial of ever willing Chester to negotiate for you. Because some people might have that perception, or real estate agent, they are working for whom? They are working for the vendor. So of course, they want to strike for the highest figure. But that's not true. Professionally speaking, and as the name of the profession implies, REN, real estate negotiator, then he will negotiate. Because at the end of the day, a relatively low sale value is still a good sale for him, rather than high value but no sale. That's what he does. Didn't I tell you that I managed to get a good price? And I'm pretty sure his vendor is not really happy with him. But then again, yeah, in the end, it's a win-win situation. You have to see the situation case-to-case basis. There were times that you can get a good bargain, and there are times that when it's not. It's always supply and demand, you know, that kind of thing. And the house design, the location of property, and if you believe into feng shui, that will come into picture as well. And I'm pretty sure you guys are wiser than me. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to ask me how would I rate him or his company, well, I would rate him 15. Not because he's treating me for coffee bean. I've been bribed today. It's really true. Can't be any truer than that for all the merits that I've mentioned earlier. I do not want it to sound redundant, but yep, ever willing is the one word. Despite of all the strings of wonderful merits that I've mentioned earlier, there's this particular thing that I like about him. Not in a gauge manner lah, but being in control of a firm. Myself, I'm a practicing professional. The trait that I'm very particular about handling business will be punctuality. This guy is as punctual as I am. In fact, super punctual, if I may use the word. Or rather, he responded to all my queries over WhatsApp promptly. No recollection of any memories of him responding to my message the next day. No way. Or in 2 or 3 hours. It's all, not most, it's all responded and replied promptly. Yep.